Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
You know what? You guys have a huge event coming up here in Nashville on March 19th and 20th as part of the Crockett Cup. And I want you to talk about this. I mean, you guys sold out the Nashville Fairgrounds back in 2018 with, I think, the biggest grossing event at that time.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. That event was headlined by Nick Aldis, then champion, and Cody Rhodes, who's gone on to, big things too. So, now we have a new champion. Matt Cardona is our champion. He'll be facing that same wrestler, Nick Aldis, in the main event. But the Crockett Cup is famous for being a tag team tournament. So the tag team tournament takes place over 2 days. We'll have 20 teams.
Wow.
Competing for the prize of holding the Crockett Cup. It's a sort of an honorable thing. Mm-hmm. And it harkens back to wrestling's heyday. And so we love that about it. The NWA is the oldest brand in the world, 73 years and counting.
Wow.
And so we love these moments where we're able to put our arms around the history of the great National Wrestling Alliance brand. But of course, Nashville is one of the great homes to the National Wrestling Alliance. So it's a perfect marriage.
Well, and it's so interesting to me also, Billy, because I know you were, a huge sports and wrestling fan all your life, but also, when you took the leap, buying the NWA to be the president and promoter, what an incredible thing. And you've really, gotten into this in a big way.
Yeah, there are days I think I'm totally insane, but being in a rock band is kind of a similar experience. When I started my band, everyone told me I wouldn't make it and I was wasting my time. And I had similar things happen when I took over the National Wrestling Alliance, and I've owned it now for over 4 years. And we brought it back to international prominence, and we're very proud of the strides that we've made. And we're trying to do something which is to really bring it back to the top again. So this is the stuff dreams are made of. And so March 19th and 20th is one of those events that, is signature to the National Wrestling Alliance. And I love Nashville. I've been spending a lot of time there working on music. I just finished my newest record. The Pumpkins have a 33-song album coming out soon. We just finished it, actually. So lots of ties there for me, friends and family. So really looking forward to it.
Well, I wanted to bring up with the NWA, and you touched on it also, Billy, to where it's the longest running, wrestling, federation like that. I mean, 73 years?
Yeah, continuous years.
Wow.
At one point, I think there was 160 chapters of the NWA around the world, and now I'm the sole owner, which is a great honor and distinction. But, people like to point to, it's not what it was. Well, the world's changed a lot. Right. If you look at the changes the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball have gone through in the last even 10 years, wrestling is facing a similar type of existential crisis to try to figure out how to find a younger audience and move into the new millennium, being what it is, which is a great product for entertainment and really bringing families and friends together. So we're on that tip, and it's interesting because on one hand, it's a live event, right?
Right.
We have these 2 nights if you want to go. NWA Tix, TIX.com is where you can get the tickets. So we have this live event, but we're also digital through Fight Network, and so we broadcast to the entire world. Mm-hmm.
Well, I was going to bring up too, to where there's something about it, Billy. You and I both know, and I know you're a sports fanatic, to where live sports and seeing the wrestling live and being there, there's just something special about it.
Well, we have about 4 signature events per year now, the way we currently run. So, we throw everything at the wall at an event like the Crockett Cup. So you'll see the best talents. We have some of the best tag teams in the world, British Invasion, Briscoe Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, the current NWA Tag Champions, La Rebellion. So we have stuff like that. And then you turn around and we have key matchups as far as the best talents in the world, whether it's Tyrus, who's the television champion, or Matt Cardona, who's the current NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. So we throw everything at the wall. So if you're going to go say one wrestling event, and the beautiful thing here is this is a new building at the fairgrounds.
Right. And
looking forward to run this building and kind of really light it up. And look, we know that Nashville fans are some of the best wrestling fans in the world. So it's going to be really beautiful and memorable nights. It's history literally in the making, and you got to be there to see it. I mean, I love that people want to watch on their digital platforms. Mm-hmm. In person. It doesn't get any better.
Well, I was going to bring up too, along with the Crockett Cup, also the Crockett Foundation that does so much good work with veterans and charity work that sometimes doesn't get brought up in the involvement with wrestling.
Yeah, well, we worked with them when we ran the Crockett Cup before in the Carolinas. We worked with the foundation, and so very proud to have been in business with the Crockett family. And it's proud for us to even have the name, because the Crockett's represent so much to the National Wrestling Alliance. I mean, they were one of the leading families. That when people talk about the NWA, they oftentimes really are talking about what the Crockett's were able to do on the Southeast coast. So.
And I've got to ask you this, Billy, because obviously with a huge music background, so many hits and everything with Smashing Pumpkins, how involved are you in the music? Because you and I both know, at wrestling events, your walkout music and the music that gets the crowd excited. How much are you involved in the music production for these events?
I'm involved a lot. Actually, we've been using 2 TV themes lately that were written by Jeff Schroeder, who's the Pumpkins guitar player for over 15 years. We use some of my music, and of course, wrestlers always have an opinion about the music that they'd like to use. So it's kind of funny because sometimes, wrestlers will bring me something that's just god awful. And normally, I think in a normal circumstance, they would probably sort of throw their weight around. But when it comes to me, I mean, what are they going to say? It's just what I do. I'm a musician. So those are some interesting conversations to have. But look, the great thing about wrestling is it's everybody from every kind of background coming together. And we like to say, we don't care where you're from, who you love, what your family background is. Wrestling really is the great meritocracy, where if you have talent and passion, this is the business for you. So we're happy to represent so many people from around the world, from so many different backgrounds, and the music becomes part of that story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, to me, that's just a perfect melding with you playing to your strengths, Billy. With your sports and with the music.
Who would argue that? That's the problem.
Well, I want to make sure that our viewers know where to go to get their tickets for your big event coming up, the Crockett Cup, on March 19th and 20th at the Nashville Fairgrounds, to get their tickets for that.
Yeah, NWATix.com, NWATIX.com. Very simple, really easy to use. We hope to see you there. It's going to be really magical.
And we can't wait to hear your new album when it releases also, Billy. Thank you so much for joining our show.
Thank you, my friend.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of a Bobby Bones Show.